Now we are going to discuss the next chapter, that is balance of payments. So balance of payments is actually concerned with the balance between the receipts and payment for the goods and services which are being transported, which are being exchanged between two different nations. Okay. So that's why it is being said it is a systematic record of all the transactions. Okay. All the transaction means all the goods and services which has been transacted between two different nations. It's a systematic record of all those transactions. Okay. Between the residents of a country, okay, and residents of फॉरेन कंट्री ड्यूरिंग ए पर्टिकुलर टाइम पीरियड. ऐसे नहीं कि मतलब कोई टाइम पीरियड फिक्स नहीं है. एक गिवन टाइम पीरियड के अंदर कितने गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज एक्सचेंज किए हैं दो कंट्रीज ने आपस में, दो कंट्रीज के रेजिडेंट्स ने आपस में विद इन ए पर्टिकुलर टाइम पीरियड, उसका जो सिस्टमेटिक रिकॉर्ड है वो हमें बताता है कि हमारे पास बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट्स फेवरेबल है या अनफेवरेबल है. तो वो आपके पास बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट्स हैं. ओके. सो इसके फीचर्स क्या हैं? सबसे पहले क्या है? सिस्टमेटिक रिकॉर्ड ऑफ ट्रांजेक्शन. सो दैट मीन्स वी हैव टू मेंटेन a systematic record of proper record of all the payments and receipts which has been done during a particular time period. Okay, that is the first feature. And second feature is that it has a fixed time period. Means time period is fixed. It can be for the 6 months or it can be for the financial year. So you have to fix up the time during which you have to measure the receipts and payments being done between two different nations. Okay. And what is the scope of this is that it record all the visible, invisible and unilateral transfers during the given time period. Okay. So that is what the features of balance of payment is there. Now we have classified these balance of payments into different, the goods and services into different aspects. First is the classification is the export and import of goods, means visible goods. Visible goods means all those goods and services which are being exchanged between or exported or imported between two different nations and are measurable by the customs officials, or we can say which are duly measured by the custom barrier. They are coming under the category of visible items. Okay. Then another is the invisible items. These are all the services which are given or received by different nations, and these can be included, can be differentiated into two parts. One is factor incomes and another is non-factor incomes. Okay. Factor income is rent, wages, interest, and rent is given, wages is given, interest is given, profit is given to the entrepreneur. Okay. So that is the factor incomes. And non-factor incomes are categorized by the banking services which we are giving, insurance services, shipping services, transportation services and various other services are there. So they are coming under the definition of non-factor incomes. Okay. Then there is a word unilateral services. Now unilateral services में कोई रिसिप्ट पेमेंट का सिस्टम नहीं है. मतलब कोई कंट्री किसी और कंट्री को रिसिप्ट पेमेंट की ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं हो रही है. यहाँ सिर्फ एक कंट्री से या एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से दूसरे कंट्री को पैसा दिया जा रहा है. मतलब रिसिप्ट्स आ रही हैं इसमें. पेमेंट इकोनॉमिक फ्लो नहीं है. कोई गुड्स और सर्विसेज का परचेज सेल नहीं है. इसमें इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी नहीं हुई है. जस्ट ए ट्रांसफर इज कमिंग फ्रॉम वन साइड, मीन्स द मनी इज कमिंग फ्रॉम वन साइड. लाइक दीज डेज वी आर हैविंग पेंडेमिक, so we will be getting grant in aid from World Bank or IMF, or America has given certain aids. So those aids are coming under the definition of unilateral transaction. Means we haven't purchased and sold any services, but we have received certain amount of transaction, certain amount of money in the form of grant in aid or in the form of scholarships or in the form of other aspects, okay, other monetary help to fight with the pandemic, that is coming under the definition of unilateral transfers. Okay, then there is capital transfer. Now here in this capital transfer we are actually purchasing and selling of assets. Now there is a difference between the first category, export and import of goods. There we are buying and selling the goods for usage. Here we are buying and selling the assets for a long term period. That is the difference between capital is transferred over here. There only the services is being transferred in the first category. Okay, so we are borrowing the money from somewhere to invest in some other country. Okay, or there is a change in stock of good gold and reserves of foreign exchange. Okay, so that is, there is a short term or long term movement of capital between the nations, and that is coming under the definition of capital transfers. Okay, in previous topic we have understood that we have classified the elements of balance of payment. They were classified in two categories. One is the current account categories, another was the capital account categories. The current account categories involved your invisible trade, visible trade, and your unilateral transfers. They are being considered as current because these transactions are for a particular time period, for a particular year. Okay, and not beyond that, not a fixed investment is there. So over a period of time these transactions are being done. Okay, that is one financial year these transactions are being done, and after that there is there will be new set of transactions. Okay, but in case of capital account the transactions are done for a longer time period. That's why they qualify as the capital transactions. Okay, now we are going to discuss what is the difference between balance of trade and balance of payments. Balance of trade is basically limited to one particular aspect, that is export and import of visible goods during a particular time period, means during a particular financial year. On the other hand, balance of payment is the difference between various economic transactions between different nations. Okay, during a particular time period, various economic transactions means visible transaction, invisible transactions, unilateral transfer, all are coming under the definition of balance of payments. Okay, balance of trade hence because of focusing on one particular aspect, that is visible items, is having a narrow concept, whereas balance of payment, since it includes all the aspects, means visible, invisible and unilateral transfers, thus is a wider concept. Okay, another important aspect is that balance of trade does not show the actual economic condition of a country, because it is the balance between the trade, between the visible exports and imports. Okay, whereas balance of payment provides you the actual picture of the economic position of any country. Okay, where the nation stands at a particular point of time, that is well exposed by the balance of payments as compared to balance of trade. And on the other hand, the balance of trade can be favorable or unfavorable, but balance of payment always balances itself in accounting sense. Okay, not in actual sense but in accounting sense. In the books of accounts, balance of payment always balances itself. That is very important aspect. Okay, now we are moving on to the next set of the topic, that is components of balance of payment. We have already discussed that in classification that there are two different areas. One is the current areas and another are the capital areas. So components of balance of payment is, we have defined them into two parts. One is current account, another is the capital account. In current account, we are having visible items, invisible items, and unilateral transfers. Whereas in capital account, we have the direct investment, portfolio investment, okay, then loans are there, then we are having banking capital transactions are there. So there are various aspects involved in the capital account and the current account. Now we will first be discussing the current account aspects, and later on we will be discussing capital account aspects. Okay. So first of all, the current account aspects are there. First element of current account is your visible items. Okay. So visible items are there. Visible items come under the definition of balance of trade, as we have already discussed that it is the export and import of the goods which are measurable on the customs barrier. Okay. So that is coming under the definition of balance of trade, or we can say the visible items of balance of payments. Okay. So if the export of goods is more than import of goods, then we say that it is we are having surplus balance of trade. If the export of goods is less than import of goods, then we say that we are having the deficit balance of trade. Okay. So that is the first basic aspect. Then is the invisible items. Invisible item include two different aspects. One is factor income and another is the non-factor incomes. Okay. So factor incomes are your investment sources, like some company, some entrepreneur has invested money into some business. Okay. So investment services are there. They are providing you consultancy services to how to invest, where to invest, and for that they are charging you the fees. The compensation which is given to the employees, rent, interest, and profit is coming under the definition of your factor incomes. That is coming under the definition of factor incomes. Okay. We have four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. So whatever the benefits these four factors are getting, that is coming under the definition of factor services. And the other is the non-factor services, and in the non-factor services we are getting the aspects banking, insurance, and shipping, tourism, and such allied services. They are coming under the definition of your non-factor services. So these are the invisible items. So if the export of the invisible items is more than import, then we are having favorable balance of payment, and if the exports are less than import, then we are having your unfavorable balance of payments. Then there is a unilateral transfer. Unilateral transfer does not involve any economic transaction. Okay. Here there is no receipt and payment of economic activities, but only transfer of funds from one nation to another nation, or from one international financial institution to some other nation. Okay. So that is coming under the definition of unilateral transfers. Okay. So it can be, these unilateral transfers can be either private or government. Okay. In case of private, it can be remittance from the immigrants, the immigrants who are living in Canada, America, Australia, New Zealand, Saudi Arabia. Okay, so they are sending money every year. So they are sending $84 billion every year. That is the part of unilateral transfer. The gifts which are being sent by the residents from other countries, that is also coming under the definition of unilateral transfers. War indemnities. Okay, war indemnities means if some nation has been defeated, okay, in war, so whatever the losses the other nation, the winning nation has suffered, they will recover it from the defeated country. That is coming under the definition of unilateral transfers. Any scholarships being provided, that is coming under the definition of unilateral transfers. So these are the various aspects, the visible, invisible and unilateral transfers. Okay. So current account balance is basically combination of balance of trade plus invisible items plus unilateral transfers. Okay. So when the receipts of current account are more than payments of current account, it becomes surplus. When the receipts of current account are less than payments of current account, it becomes deficit. Okay. So we have two different definitions. One is current account deficit and another is current account surplus. Okay. If we are suffering the aspect of current account deficit, that shows the nation is a net borrower from rest of world. Okay. So that is what the current account deficit is. And if the country is current account surplus, that shows the country is lender to the world. Okay, country is a lender of the world. Okay, rest of the world. So that is the another important aspect. Two definitions. One is current account deficit and another is current account surplus. Now moving over to the capital accounts. Okay. Now capital account is bringing money through four different ways. One is the direct investment, another is your portfolio investment, and third one is your loans, borrowings from international organizations, and then there is your banking transactions. Okay. So what is direct investment? Direct investment is that you are sending your money for purchasing assets in some other nations. Means like IKEA has established a big business center in India, in Andhra Pradesh. Same way, Amazon has established biggest office in Asia, in Asia in Telangana. So that is in Andhra Pradesh. So that is that you have actually gone into a particular country, purchased the assets in that particular country, and you are carrying out the the purchase and sale activities in that particular nation only. Okay, or we can say that like Tata has purchased Chorus in or Jaguar in UK, so that is a direct investment by Tata into those nations. So that is first definition, first aspect through which the capital account transfers are happening. Okay. So we can say the residents of India has purchased certain assets in the rest of the world, or residents of rest of the world has purchased certain assets in our country or created certain assets in our country. That is coming under the definition of direct investment. Then there is a portfolio investment. When any individual, when any company buys into the shareholding of some other company, that is known as portfolio investment. For example, recently Facebook has purchased shares for 9.99% shares of Jio to start digital transactions or business transactions in India. So Facebook has purchased shares for 44,000 crores, 44,000 something, some hundred crores. Okay, so that is the portfolio investment, that you are not investing into creation of asset, but you are buying into the shares of that particular company, and through that you are investing. Like Warren Buffett is doing investment into the shares of various companies. Okay, recently he has got more dividend than the in salary the CEO of Coca-Cola is getting. That is an information. So that is the that he is earning through portfolio investment in Coca-Cola. Same way Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is not doing direct investment, but he is doing portfolio investment into the companies. He is buying shares of those companies, either they are in India or in abroad. So that is portfolio investment. Okay. So what we are doing is we are buying into the bonds, securities of foreign countries like government securities or companies shares are being purchased. They are coming under the definition of portfolio investment. Okay, portfolio investment comes through FIIs or foreign institutional investors or qualified institutional bidders or HNIs, high net worth income groups. So that is what the portfolio investment is. Okay. Then comes the definition of borrowing loans. Capital means we are borrowing long-term loans. Okay. From international market, from domestic as well as from the government as well as from the private sector. In the international market, okay, or we are getting external assistance on discounted rates from the international markets, and that is used for carrying out the purchasing activities. Means we are buying like Adani raised 6,000 crores for investment into coal industry in Australia. So State Bank of India was ready to provide money to Adani for investment into Australia in coal mines or coal fields. Okay, so that is how we are asking for loans from international markets at market rate, from international bodies and from some countries on concessional rates for carrying out the business activities, for buying and selling of assets. That is coming under the definition of your loans. So loans are defined in two ways. One is commercial borrowings and another is external assistance. Okay, like we have taken external assistance from Japan for bullet train program. So that is the loan aspect of capital account. And then last is the banking capital transactions. Okay, banking capital transactions are coming under the definition of capital accounts. Okay, so these are transactions which are being used for the purpose of buying the financial assets and liabilities of commercial banks and cooperative banks. Okay, in the foreign exchange, which are dealing in the foreign exchange. So that is the another important aspect. So we are through these banking transactions we are buying the assets, financial assets. So banking capital transactions are basically concerned with the financial purchase and sale of financial assets of those organizations who are dealing in foreign exchange. So that is coming under the definition of these. So these four are defining themselves as the parts of capital account, that is direct investment, portfolio investment, and then your loans and your banking capital transactions. Okay,